Have you ever observed a small stream in a forest? It does not fight its way forward. It does not try to crash through the rocks or force the earth to bend. Instead, it flows. It moves around obstacles with quiet persistence, finding the path of least resistance. It yields, yet it continues its journey, eventually reaching the great ocean. We, in our lives, often behave like a stream that has forgotten its nature. We believe we must force our way through life, pushing against the current, certain that more effort, more struggle, will bring us peace, success, or love. We treat our existence as a fortress to be conquered, rather than a river to journey with. What if the source of your struggle is the struggle itself? What if true power is discovered not in pushing, but in allowing? Our conditioning runs deep. From our earliest days, we are taught that life is a competition. We are told to strive, to overcome, to impose our will upon the world. This creates an illusion of control. We build intricate plans and grip our desires tightly, convinced we can command reality. But the nature of life is not rigid, it is fluid. It is like the breath flowing in and out of your body, not a machine to be engineered. Consider your own breathing, here in this moment. It happens without your command. It is a natural rhythm, a gift of life that requires no effort from you. Imagine if you decided you had to control it, forcing each inhale, managing every exhale. Very soon, a process that was effortless would become a source of great anxiety. The grace of it would be lost. This is a reflection of how we live. We take the natural flow of our lives and turn it into a constant effort. We force our work, our relationships, our own well-being, until the strain of it all leaves us completely exhausted. There is a more harmonious way. An ancient wisdom speaks of moving in alignment with the natural world. It is the wisdom of the water that carves canyons not through brute force, but through patient, gentle flow. It accepts the landscape as it is and navigates it with grace. In this acceptance, it finds its immense power. When you surrender the need to force everything, you stop being a dam holding back the river of your own life. Only then can the water flow freely. This simple shift in perspective holds a profound truth. The peace you are desperately chasing is already within you, waiting beneath the turbulent waters of your own striving. If this insight resonates with a space of truth within you, join our community on this path of quiet discovery. Consider subscribing so we may explore this landscape together. To affirm your own journey, there is a simple declaration you can make. A powerful shift begins with a simple intention. To align with this truth, I invite you now to declare it for yourself. Type this into the comments below. Make this a quiet promise to honor your own nature. This is not a call for passivity. Letting go of force is not about inaction or apathy. The art of allowing is far more skillful. It is the wisdom to distinguish between action born of desperate control and action that arises from a deep, intuitive response. Think of a master archer. The drawing of the bow is an act of great strength, yet there is no frantic struggle. The archer, bow, and arrow become one. The release is not forced, it happens at the perfect moment, as naturally as a leaf falling from its branch. This is action without resistance. You may still work, create, and build, but you do so with a light touch. You plant the seed and offer it water, but you do not pull on the sprout to make it grow. You do your part, and then you allow the great mystery of life to do its part. How do you begin to feel the difference? Pay close attention to the sensations within you. Action rooted in forcefulness carries the feeling of tension. There is a tightness in the shoulders, a clenching in the jaw, a voice of fear whispering, "This must work out." Action that flows with life feels different. There is energy, yes, but it feels like creative play, not a battle. It has a natural ease to it, like a cloud moving across the sky. Resisting life is like trying to hold back the tide with your hands. Flowing with life is like resting on the surface of the water, allowing it to carry you. Consider the story of a painter who for years attempted to force masterpieces from her canvas. Each day was a struggle, a fight to prove her own worth. Her art from this time felt rigid and without soul. One day, in complete frustration, She walked away from her studio. For weeks, she did not paint. Instead, she began to sketch simple things without any goal. The way light fell on a cup, the shape of a sleeping animal, the lines on her own hand. It was simply play. A remarkable transformation occurred. These simple drawings possessed a vitality her larger works had always lacked. When she returned to her canvas, she brought this new spirit. She no longer tried to create greatness. She allowed what was beautiful to flow through her. And in that surrender, her work became truly alive. This is the great secret. When you release the intense effort to become someone, you discover who you truly are. When you stop chasing happiness as a destination, you realize it is the very ground on which you walk. When you cease demanding that life be different, you see the perfection in what is. So, how does one practice this in a world that praises struggle? Begin by noticing the subtle ways you are applying force. Are you forcing a relationship that has run its course? Are you forcing a smile when you feel sorrow? Are you forcing a solution upon a problem that needs time to unfold on its own? This is not about surrendering your values. It is about discerning when your effort creates more resistance than harmony. When the forcing stops, genuine connection has a chance to begin. The situations that were breaking under the strain of your control can begin to heal in the space of your acceptance. When you stop forcing life, you may be surprised that it doesn't mean you care less. In fact, it allows you to care more deeply. When you release your attachment to a specific outcome, you become free to pour all of your presence into the process itself. You can offer your love more generously when it is not conditioned on a specific response. You can engage with your work more fully when it is not burdened by a desperate need for a certain result. You find more joy in your moments because you are not trying to turn them into something they are not. Ancient wisdom often uses parables. One speaks of a farmer whose horse runs away. His neighbors say, "Such misfortune." The farmer replies, "Perhaps." The next day, the horse returns with a herd of wild horses. The neighbors exclaim, "What great fortune." The farmer again says, "Perhaps." The story continues, illustrating that what we label as good or bad is a very limited perspective. Life possesses an intelligence far greater than our own. When we force our narrow judgments onto the vast, unfolding mystery, we disconnect from this deeper wisdom. The invitation is to dance with this mystery, not wrestle with it. What of our goals, our aspirations? They are important. The question is not whether to have them, but how you hold them. Do you hold a dream with an open palm, like a butterfly that is free to stay or go? Or do you grasp it with a clenched fist, crushing the very beauty you wish to possess? You can intend a direction for your journey while remaining open to the unexpected beauty of a different path. A wise person once shared a perspective. A young woman dreamed of becoming a great healer in a specific tradition. She studied, she worked, she did everything she was told, but the doors to that path would not open. Instead of forcing them, she grieved the dream she held so tightly. And then she asked a simple question: what else wishes to emerge? She began to serve in a small clinic, discovering a way to care for people that was more direct, more personal than she ever imagined. Years later, she saw that life had not denied her dream. It had fulfilled it in a way her own plans never could have conceived. When we allow space for life's own creativity, it often leads us to a destination more true to our soul than the one we had planned. The fear may arise: if I stop pushing, won't I fail? Won't I lose my drive? This is a profound misunderstanding. It assumes the only options are to either fight against the current or be swept away by it. But there is a third way to use the current's own energy. What gives you more strength? Forcing yourself to do something you resist, or allowing your energy to flow into what you naturally love? When you cease to force, you do not lose your power. You connect with a deeper, more sustainable source of it. You discover the resilient strength of the bamboo, which bends in the wind, instead of the rigid strength of the oak, which can break in the storm. Learning this is like learning to float in water. Your first instinct is to struggle, to fight, fearing you will sink, but it is the relaxation, the trust that allows the water to hold you. Start in small ways. Notice when you force a conversation. Perhaps just listen. Notice when you force your body in traffic, filled with tension. Perhaps just breathe. Your body is a wise guide. Tension is a signal you are fighting the flow. When you feel it, soften your shoulders and ask, what would it feel like to do this with ease? Your thoughts, too, create tension with their relentless pushing. This must happen now. When you notice these thoughts, simply invite a gentler inquiry. I am curious to see what unfolds. Living this way means becoming responsive to life, rather than reactive. It is learning to feel what each moment asks of you. Sometimes it asks for stillness, sometimes for courageous action, sometimes to speak your truth, sometimes to listen in silence. The art is in the listening. This requires a quiet mind, a space we are not taught to cultivate. We are taught to be busy. But profound effectiveness comes from this inner quiet, from an alignment with the greater flow. You may find you do less, but what you do has a far greater and more harmonious impact. As our time together concludes, I want to leave you with this single, powerful insight. You do not need to be fixed. The act of trying to fix yourself is another form of force. The endless striving to be better, more spiritual, more successful. This is the very pattern that creates the tension. The invitation is to simply stop, and in that stopping, to allow what is already whole and beautiful within you to come forward. You are the river. Your striving is the dam. When you remove the dam, the river naturally flows, and it knows exactly where to go. To walk this path is a continuous practice of returning to the present moment. It is a quiet promise to yourself. If you feel called to continue this journey of inner discovery with our community, your subscription is a beautiful way to affirm that commitment. It helps this work reach others who may also be seeking a more harmonious way of being. Now, take a quiet breath. Feel where you might be forcing or resisting in your life. What battle can you lay down today? Remember, this is not about giving up. It is about moving from an action of fear to an action of trust. It is realizing that life is not an adversary. It is a sacred dance, and it is inviting you to learn its rhythm. When you stop forcing, you allow reality to give you what you have been seeking all along, a peace that was never absent, only hidden beneath the struggle. The chase is over. You are already here, whole and complete.